name is Sherry Elmore, and today I'm going to share with you my thematic unit over space. This unit is very special to me because it brought back a lot of my science childhood memories. It came along with me learning all the different parts of, the solar system and the atmosphere and what is all actually out there in space. This unit was very easy for me to make because it was short and simple, but then again, it took a lot of creativity because there is many themes out there that is over space that a lot of people have done. So it took a lot of creativity and a lot of thinking time to actually make it my own individual unit, that didn't correspond with any other units, that are out there that you can find on the internet. My space unit consists of a bulletin board, as you can see, one math game, a science game, and a fun, enjoyable virtual field trip. I constructed this unit in thoughts of regarding around the planets, the moons, stars, the clouds, all the other things that you find in space, like astronauts, space stations, satellites, space shuttles, jets, all those fun things. Now I'm going to show you my first piece of my unit, which is the bulletin board. Where do I live at in space? This bulletin board is interactive because, as you can see, if you look on here, you have your different planets that you can pull off and put back on within, the circle rings corresponding to how close they are from the sun down to Pluto. So you have the sun, the first, and then you have Pluto down to the very last one. Then also, as you can see, on these different parts, you have many different parts on here. You have all these different folders, which this one is ways to travel and man-made things found in space. And if you open this folder, you will see all the different things that you can find in here. It has a coloring sheet which is interactive. They can take a dry erase marker and color it, and it's just astronauts in space, rockets, and all that. Then they have pictures in here, pictures of satellites, pictures of astronauts. Because you say astronauts, and kids are like, astronauts aren't real. Come on. Well, if you can show them a picture of a real-life astronaut and put it into perspective and tell them, yes, astronauts are real, that's how we discover what is out there in space, far away, then maybe that will generate their knowledge of actually believing that, yes, there are astronauts and yes, they are real. This folder down here is our star galaxy folder. And all this folder is if you open it up, inside this folder you'll find the 5 major star constellations like the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, Virgo, Leo, and Orion. And this activity, they're already placed up here. You have Virgo and Leo. They're sticky tape back, so you can easily pull them off and place them in the folder. And then when it's the kid's turn, say, okay, go get them. And you put them where you feel that they should belong in space. And then maybe once everybody does it, then give them a chance to go back and say, okay, well, why do you think this star constellation goes here? Because I still find myself at night, after my kids go to bed, I can go out there and I will try to find these certain star constellations because they were such a memorable, big aspect of my education and my learning when I was in my younger childhood years. This folder is the order of planets. This is like what I've said here. Sticky tape back, peel them off, stick them back on. This will teach the children, after you discuss it in class, well, which planet does come after the sun? Well, which planet comes after Venus, Mars, and so forth. So that it's hands-on again. They can take off, back on for the next child to do it. This is how many moons you have. Every planet has a moon. So first, before they're able to put the number of the moons that they have underneath the planets, you have to go over with them, well, this planet has this many moons because of this. So you have to teach them how many moons, and then it's like a memory game. Well, can you remember how many planets Mars has? Can you remember how many, planets Venus has? And as they're up there and they're working through it, I will be up there instructing them, okay, remember, think, this planet has this because of this. So how many moons do you think they have? So that bulletin board was real easy to make. You see my teeth on the side that goes over that appropriate age limit. Now the next step of a thing that goes along with my space unit is it's a math game. And I found it very fun and interesting when I was making this math game because it was real enjoyable to me to make. So on this is a space memory math game. On the back you see your teeth, and on the front is just like, you remember all those games you played as kids, this matching game, you flip them over, see which one's matched? This is what this game is. But the only difference is, see these two different ones? You have one that says this, has words on it, and these words is like, for example, multiply together the number of moons for Jupiter and the number of moons for Pluto. 63 times 4. So now they have to know their multiplication table. And that you can have them a piece of scratch paper or pencil so they can do it. And then they look through here and they find the right one. And it'll have the number listed on here, the correct number. And it'll all be face down on here. So it's all going to be a matching game. So once they solve the problem that's on back of the card, then they leave that face up on the desk. And then they go through and they pick out, and we'll have them separated into different piles. You'll have your word problems on one side, your numbers and your answers to the word problem on the other side. That way they can just flip through the numbers and not keep flipping over, all the word problems that they actually haven't even solved yet. So that I would think would be very interesting for the kids, because most kids, they hate math, they hate doing it. And so I think if you make it an interactive game to where it's kind of fun, like a matching game, and they can play in partners if you would like, I think that'll be really fun and interesting to them. They'll grasp on a lot easier with. Now my next piece that I'm going to show you is my science game that I created for an activity. Fatigues again are on the back. Now this is the cloud matching game. Most kids, you tell them, yes, there's clouds in the sky. They don't really know that there's 4 different types of clouds. To be honest, I learned a little bit when I did this activity. So this is a key term and matching definition activity. You'll have your words like this, your cumulus. This is the type of cloud, cumulus. So you'll have that face up on a desk. Then you'll have your definitions, for instance, like this. Some are definitions, and then some are just characteristics of that certain type of cloud. Every cloud, there's 4 types of clouds. Every cloud has 3 different definitions, so you may say, or characteristics that belong with that type of cloud. So they have to know, after being what they're taught in class, and they are able to use their notes, they have to know which characteristic, which definition goes with this key term. And that is very interesting too, because they played in partners. So they're constantly guessing, well, what do you think this one is? Well, what do you think this one is? So it's really interesting. It's fun to watch them interact with that. My last part of the unit is my notebook. We had to construct a notebook. This is my space unit notebook. Divided into the 5 different categories of the weeks. If you look on here, this is week 1. You have your week 1 assignment that we had to do from the book. This is my essay over mysterious things found in space. This is just the beginning of the unit. It talks about what I possibly think before I research, what I'm going to find in space. Week 2, this is your assignment from the book again. Then we have the homework assignment. We had to write a paper over SACS math and STAR test, 4th grade level, how we feel, about that test basically. This is my essay over my bulletin board. This is Where Do We Live in Space for 2nd grade. This tells you basically what I've done, told you, but it just kind of goes in more depth. Tells you, they'll place the units in order from the closest to the sun to the farthest. Then it has your teach listed in the back. Week 3, again, your bookwork assignment. Then my lesson plan. We had to come up with a math lesson plan. I did how many monkeys are hanging from the tree. This really interested me because I correlated it with the zoo. You go to the zoo, I'm going to be honest, as an adult, I always wonder, oh my gosh, how many monkeys are actually out there that can hang on a tree from, that many different branches and limbs. And so I think this is kind of fun because it teaches them to cross-reference, things together, multiply by 3s because it's a lesson plan over, multiples of 3. They are able to use the multiplication chart for those special needy kids. This is just the directions over the space memory game. This is my printout before I laminated them and put them on to the piece of paper. And then this is my essay over my space memory learning station, my math station. I did my math station over that. Then you go into week 4. Again, your homework assignment. My lesson plan over science. What type of cloud is that I see up there? Again, correlates with my activity I did, defining the 4 different types of clouds. This is of 4 different types of clouds. This is little information. This is where I got my activity from. That list and gives all the characteristics for it. This is the cloud matching game. Just the directions. My essay over the cloud learning station. Week 5, homework assignment. My outer space virtual field trip. We took a virtual field trip to outer space. And we learned about, basically everything that I've already talked about now, the moons, the stars, the planets. And we put the classroom into a space-like classroom, and it's dark in there. It has the seats, aligned like the kids are getting in a jet and taking off. And inside that essay, you'll find all my information that tells you how the classroom was designed, how the students reacted. And then once we got back in the classroom, this is an activity I had them do. It was an Oreo moon phase activity. And after they got done placing, first quarter, last quarter, waxing, new, full, done by the Oreos, then they were able to eat the Oreos. Then another activity I had them do after they got back off our field trip was pick 2 planets of their favorite, the 2 of their most favorite planets, color them, label them, and put it in their notebook. This unit was very easy for me to do, and I really enjoy doing it. So I hope all of y'all have learned something from my unit. I try to make it original and not take that much information that I actually found off the internet. Some of it was kind of hard, so I did have to take some of it. But I will see myself, even with my kids at home, because I have some kids that are going into 1st and 2nd grade. I do see myself using this with them, even for the older ones, because some of my older children they haven't even, really learned about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you should have learned about this in school. For instance, my daughter is going in 4th grade. She's not too familiar with the clouds and the planets and all that. So again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have all learned something from it, and hopefully some of my information can be useful for it. Thanks.